Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Good evening. A live look at Exact Track 40 radar. The forewarned weather team tracking severe storms that could put a damper on the Woodward Dream Cruise this weekend.
Metro Detroiters got an early start to Dream Cruise weekend. Well, not just today. It's been the last couple of days, hasn't it? Drone 4 over Woodward Avenue as car lovers checked out all the classic cars cruising down the street on a Friday afternoon and night. What's ahead for the weekend? Good to have you with us tonight at 11. I'm Devin Skillion.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Karen Drew, in for Kimberly Gill tonight. Let's get right over to Brian. He is in for Kim Adams this evening with a look at that all-important forecast.
I think Karen and Devin, as we go into the next day or so, we're still going to keep some wet weather around, but for the good news, most everybody dry into the late evening hours tonight. Exact Track 40 radar, where I am tracking a few showers well north of Metro Detroit, working up toward Tamath, up towards Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. Seeing a few showers, but outside of that, that's it. Then we dodge those showers and a few thunderstorms on the way, looking ahead into our Saturday. Tower cam over downtown Detroit, a very beautiful and tranquil evening. Most everybody still into the 60s and 70s tonight. 75 right now here in Detroit, 67 over in Ann Arbor, 73 in Pontiac, and 66 as you work into Port Huron. That frontal boundary moving through the region, but this slow moving area of low pressure, yeah, that's going to keep us active as we head throughout the rest of the weekend, including the Dream Cruise tomorrow. We'll keep a few showers in the morning and then a few thunderstorms in the afternoon, heading for right around 80 degrees by late tomorrow afternoon. I'll break down when the thunderstorms move out of the region. The details in your full forewarned forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Brian. Detroit police may be closing in on a suspect in the case of missing 13-year-old Naziah Harris.
The 13-year-old disappeared. It was back in January, and then Detroit's top cop is now vowing that this case has not gone cold. Meantime, we have learned Naziah's father has passed away. Jacqueline Francis is talking with a close friend of the family about where things stand tonight. Jacqueline?
Karen, as we told you yesterday, a warrant request has been submitted to the county prosecutor's office. Now, police can't say who they're looking into, but they did say to expect an update soon.
Yeah, so she was a fun-loving girl. They got a lot of time to spend time together. He always talked about ice cream trucks and her riding a bike. And
when Naziah Harris went missing in January, it just so happened her dad's longtime friend, Tamara Smith, was on the board of police commissioners. Last month, Naziah's dad died from heart failure.
He was already sick, but this took him over the edge. With all the might in his body, he was out every day searching, looking, doing as much as he could to bring awareness and to bring his baby home.
Just weeks after her dad's death, Police Chief James White says they're closing in on a lead.
We are prepared very soon to make an announcement on this case.
13-year-old Naziah was last seen in January, getting off the school bus in the area of Cornwall Street and 3 Mile Drive on Detroit's east side. Since then, there have been multiple police searches, but no trace of the young teen who police believe is dead.
What I can tell you is that it's not going to be the desired outcome that any of us want. And I have to stop there, as Madam Prosecutor will probably start ringing my phone here in a minute.
As police inch closer to closing this case, Smith is urging the public to be patient, especially those taking matters into their own hands, conducting unauthorized searches of their own.
I would not say that you should be going in vacant houses and trespassing and making things worse, because you don't want to compromise the integrity of the case.
So right now, the prosecutor's office is looking over that warrant request. If they choose to authorize it, we could know a whole lot more very soon. We'll stay on it. Reporting live from Detroit Police Headquarters, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
All right, it's been such a heartache for the family. We so hope that soon is sooner than later. All right, thank you, Jacqueline.
Now new at 11, an investigation underway after a crash on Detroit's west side. The surveillance video captures the moment of the crash. It happened on West Outer Drive and Mansfield. Both cars suffering significant damage. We've got a call into police awaiting word on injuries.
All right, the story keeps trending right now. The fallout continues after a Detroit judge had a teen handcuffed because she fell asleep in his courtroom. Wayne State University tells NBC News that Judge Kenneth King has been removed from teaching classes there. The move comes after King admonished 15-year-old Eva Goodman after she fell asleep in his courtroom during a field trip on Tuesday, organized by a Detroit nonprofit. Eva's mother says her daughter was put in jail clothes and handcuffed. The chief judge at 36th District Court says King has been removed from his criminal case docket as he undergoes necessary training. Vice President Kamala Harris lays out plans for what her first 100 days in office would look like if she is elected president.
Yep, she spoke to supporters today in one of the battleground states, North Carolina. Harris proposing cuts for middle-class Americans, expanding the child tax credit to provide $6,000 to families with newborns, and a federal ban on corporate price gouging in the food and grocery industry. Former President Trump is convinced his political opponents' policies, though, would hurt the economy.
My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules.
A radical left person wants to put price controls all over the place, which will end up driving up your prices, not down your prices.
Both campaigns heading to Pennsylvania this weekend. The two candidates are going to face off in their first debate, of course, coming up September 10th in Philadelphia. And remember, next week is the start of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. It's been 37 years since Northwest Airlines Flight 255 crashed onto I-94 in Romulus.
The aircraft took off from Detroit Metro at 8:44 p.m., headed to Phoenix, Arizona. It was airborne for all of 14 seconds before crashing along Middle Belt and I-94. 156 people died in the crash. The sole survivor, a 4-year-old girl, was pulled from that wreckage. Flight 255 is the 7th deadliest plane crash in the history of the U.S. Today, family and friends of victims gathered to honor their lives. Will Jones shows us how they're being remembered tonight.
After taking off from Detroit Metro Airport on August 16, 1987, headed to Phoenix, Northwest Airlines Flight 255 was in the air for only 14 seconds before crashing on Middle Belt Road, killing 154 people on board. A 4-year-old girl, Cecilia Sheehan, was the lone survivor. She was pulled from the wreckage that night.
I think about the accident every day. It's kind of hard not to think about it. When I look in the mirror, I have visual scars.
Romulus firefighters were credited with saving the little girl's life.
It got to the point where I thought I was stepping on like a doll or something, making that noise. And I saw a chair, and I just moved the chair. But then I turned my head to the right, and I could see an arm.
An investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board revealed that the flight crew didn't use the taxi checklist, making sure the flaps and slats were extended for takeoff. A contributing factor, the absence of electrical power to the airplane's takeoff warning system, which would have warned the flight crew that the airplane was not configured properly for takeoff. Will Jones, Local 4.
All right, Will, our coverage continues on the homepage of clickondetroit.com. Hank Winchester's special report from, as you just heard, the only survivor, talking about what happened. You also hear from the firefighter who pulled her from the wreckage. Just head to Click on Detroit. Tonight, there are concerns about a massive data breach that may have exposed your Social Security number and other personal information. In fact, more than 2 billion consumers may be affected. It's a lot of people. It's not just Social Security numbers that have been exposed. Hackers also got a hold of a lot of people's full names, their addresses, dates of birth. Security experts say it is critical that consumers do what they can to protect their own information.
You just have to be an active participant in your own credit history or in your own identification, which is hard for a lot of people because it's just a lot of work you got to do. You got to spend like basically an entire Saturday just setting up credit freezes and looking at credit reports.
Well, like I guess tomorrow's Saturday, a lot of people should be doing that. Consumers, though, may be notified soon via a letter, so watch the mail, providing more information about this specific hack and what steps you might be encouraged to take to protect your identity.
As Labor Day gets closer, Michigan State Police are working harder to keep impaired drivers off the roads. Starting today, for the next 3 weeks, MSP will put more troopers on patrol for its Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. Last year, over 40% of deadly crashes on Michigan roads involved alcohol or drugs. The campaign goes until September 2nd. Well, the Woodward Dream Cruise isn't the only big event this weekend here in Metro Detroit. It's
being billed as the world's largest Afro Beats festival. It's going to take over the Brewster Douglas site across I-75 from Comerica Park. This is the second year the festival will bring Afro Beats, R&B, and hip-hop artists to the D. Afro Nation takes place tomorrow and Sunday. It's a huge setup.